Just ahead on the daily digital debrief. A Lansing man is facing 18 charges after a body was found in a home he was barricading in, but one key charge is missing. Plus, nearly everyone you know probably has had COVID-19, or everyone knows someone who's had COVID-19 at this point, but you might be shocked how high the number actually is. And finally, as those COVID-19 cases keep going up, Sparrow has made a big change to their visitation policy. All that and more right now on the daily digital debrief.
This is the Daily Digital Debrief.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for another edition of the Daily Digital Debrief. We are here on this fine Tuesday afternoon. It is certainly chilly outside today. Make sure you bundle up, put a coat on. We'll have more about the weather in just a little bit. But make sure you're commenting, letting us know where you're watching from, what you're up to this afternoon, and we'll read your comments on the air here. Shout you out, give you your name, let people know that you're watching. So be sure to do that. But in the meantime, we have lots of good top stories to get to today, including a 41-year-old man who is facing 18 charges after a standoff with police. Gregory Sanders of Lansing was arrested on Saturday afternoon after more than 10 hours negotiating with a crisis response team. But here's the kicker. After the standoff with police, in which he fired multiple shots outside his door and window, a body was found in the Lansing home. On Sunday, police announced they found 28-year-old Dominique Hahn dead inside the home on the 4900 block of Pleasant Grove Road. Police said the investigation is now classified as a homicide, but of the 18 counts Sanders is facing, none are homicide charges. He's looking at 8 counts of assault with intent to murder and 10 felony firearm charges. His bond has been set at $250,000, and he's scheduled to be in court again on January 20th. But again, as of right now, he is not officially facing homicide charges yet, but this is a homicide investigation. The death is a homicide investigation. Also yesterday afternoon, we started hearing about another incident in Lansing. Information is still coming out, but we know police were called to the 700 block of Pennsylvania Avenue after getting multiple calls of a shooting. That's when a 19-year-old man was found with multiple gunshot wounds. First responders tried to save him at the scene, but he died a short time later in a hospital. As you can see, certainly a lot of damage to that front door right there. The victim's name has not been yet released. Right now, officers say this latest killing does not appear to be random, but no other information has been released about a suspect. Again, a 19-year-old man was found with multiple gunshot wounds and died a short time later at a local hospital. Definitely not the kind of news you like to hear about, with lots of violence in the Lansing area the last 2 days, unfortunately. Okay. Hang with me for a second as we change stories and the storylines a little bit here with me. But do you remember all the way back in, say, May or June of 2020, people used to ask you, do you even know someone who's had COVID-19 before? I know I was asked that question a couple of times, and the answer for me at the time was no, I'd never personally met anyone who's had COVID-19 before. Well, that literally couldn't be further from the truth now, because a new study shows that nearly 9 out of 10 people say they personally know someone who's had COVID-19. The poll was conducted by Axios, who's been doing the study since March of 2020. This, of course, comes as COVID-19 cases are spiking in the U.S. There was a record 1.35 million new COVID-19 cases on Monday. That's the highest daily infection count of the entire pandemic. So definitely, more and more people are going to know that may eventually be 100%. It's hard to find 100% on anything today, but it seems like everybody, and I've even shared on this show that some family members of mine have tested positive just in the last few weeks. So that number is going to continue to be rising, I'm sure. Okay, as COVID-19 rises and events all across the country are being canceled, the Michigan International Auto Show is returning to DeVos Place in downtown Grand Rapids after it was canceled last year. The auto show is hosted by the Grand Rapids New Car Dealers Association and will feature hundreds of vehicles from more than 25 manufacturers. Visitors will be able to view trucks, SUVs, electric and performance vehicles, and a handful of pre-production models. The event will be held from Thursday, February 3rd to Sunday, February 6th. Tickets are $12 for adults and $5 for children and can be bought online. So for more information on the specific hours and what the event's all about, head to our website, WLNS.com. Okay, today students at Okemos High School walked out of class in protest. This comes as social media posts from students have been circulating with concerns over the school's COVID-19 guidelines and its backpack policy in wake of the Oxford High School shooting. Okemos made a change to their backpack policy. 6 News reporter Michael Thomas was there and has more for you now.
Good afternoon, everyone. Those online posts have since evolved into online petitions, and today students took it a step further by showing that they've simply had enough. Just before 9 o'clock, students walked out of their classrooms and gathered near a picnic area outside of Okemos High School. None leaving the school premises, but still standing their ground on the school's latest protocols. Before winter break, Okemos schools banned backpacks due to safety concerns in wake of the Oxford school shootings. Around the same time, the online petition was created by students, saying, quote, "They're punishing the whole school because of a couple of kids carrying drugs and what occurred at Oxford High School. If they are worried about some kids taking drugs to school, they can take those privileges away from them." And that petition currently has almost 800 signatures. In addition to the petition, social media posts about a walkout say students are also frustrated that kids keep getting sick and the school's not doing anything about it. The current Okemos High School interim principal did respond to those concerns last week, saying they would meet with students soon and find a resolution. But given the dozen of students that stood outside this morning, it doesn't seem that that's happened. As of now, no new comment has been made from public officials from the school, and as the story develops, we'll continue to keep you updated both online and on air. Here for you in Okemos, Michael Thomas, 6 News.
All right, thank you to Michael for his reporting on that one. Definitely an interesting case out of Okemos as the students were basically like, hey, do you realize how far we have to walk without these backpacks, back and forth, not to mention the COVID-19 angles as well. So a lot to unpack there over just down the road at Okemos High School. Let's take a look at comments now. Usually we do comments after the weather, but a lot of people watching, but not as many people commenting so far. Donna says good afternoon, so good afternoon to you, Donna. Maria says, tags a friend. Brandy says, happy Taco Tuesday to all. Thank you to Brandy. So yeah, hopefully we can get some tacos for dinner tonight, if that's what you want. John Moore says, good afternoon, or good Tuesday, everyone. Only 4 days until the weekend. Yeah, John, looking forward to that weekend for sure, even though it's only Tuesday. A long way to go, but John is looking at the optimistic way of only 4 days until the weekend. Charlotte says, hello, Andrew, John, and everyone at 6 News. It's Taco Tuesday. Yay, hopefully Charlotte gets some tacos for herself. John says, as of today, 32% of people in Michigan being tested are testing positive. This is double what it was 6 weeks ago. Just wow. Yeah, John, the positivity rate is one of the craziest things to watch as COVID-19. That's always been a good barometer because the cases can go up and down based on how many people are getting tested, but that positivity percentage is something that we've looked at for a long time. In the summer, it was below 5%. That's typically what the experts like to see is below 5%. And it's steadily gone all the way up to 32%, a huge number for positivity percentage. So yeah, John Moore, he's our IT guy, but he's on top of the news as well, so shout out to John. Steve Baxley, one of our loyal viewers here, says, happy Taco Tuesday, Andrew, John, and the whole WLNS Newsers today. We feast the taco, we ravage the taco, we just make that taco good, including the fish taco. So hopefully Steve is going to be making the most out of this Taco Tuesday because it sounds like he's put a lot of thought into it. So thank you to Steve. Let's take a look at the today's forecast. First, we'll get to the 6-day in just a second. A little bit warmer today than yesterday, 25 degrees, partly cloudy, but it just feels chipper out there. This is extra cold. Normally the high is 31 degrees, so we're about 6 degrees lower than that. Partly cloudy skies will make a brief return to the area this evening, with high temperatures topping out in the mid-20s for the region. However, the winds up to 20 miles per hour at time. Wind chill temperatures will still be in the single digits. Yes, that explains it. Thank you to Kendall, our meteorologist, for that report, because it definitely feels like it's still in that single digits, even if it's not technically in the single digits. It's in the 20s. Man, does it feel cold, though, I will say that. Rachel comments on the show saying they should have thought that out. It's cold out. Hope everyone can figure this COVID out soon. Maybe close the schools until this Omicron is over. She's talking about that. Okemos walkout. Yeah, interesting day. Maybe a bit of... Could have chose a better day where it wasn't so cold out, but hey, they felt like it was necessary to kind of get that done and really show everyone how they feel. So that is what's happening over at Okemos. Okay, staying on the topic of COVID-19 now, as cases are spiking like never before, the pandemic continues to weigh on healthcare workers. That has caused Sparrow to reduce the number of visitors that they are going to allow. Some family members who were at Sparrow said they hadn't even heard of the policy. Others who had heard of it looked pretty dejected. And one family said they understand, but still it's not going to make the policy any easier. 6 News reporter Tony Garcia is here for you with more now.
Chad and Brandon Podolak have spent days at Sparrow trying to watch over their mother who just had surgery. That can't happen the same way starting tomorrow.
Causing a lot of extra stress and anxiety on our part, just because we're trying to get some information on what the next step for our mother is going to be.
Sparrow will limit visitors to 1 person per patient per day, a pill that hasn't been easy to swallow after a tough 72 hours.
Even in a normal situation, this would be something very stressful for any family. I understand the need for safety, but everybody's getting screened. We all have masks on. We've been in here for 3 days now. What's magical tomorrow about the change?
According to Sparrow's lead nurse, it wasn't about finding the perfect day as much as responding to the surge that's flooding the state and her medical team.
Every single one of our beds is full. We also are holding about 60 patients in our emergency department right now. At this point, we just thought, we really need to try to eliminate some of the additional traffic coming into the hospital.
Some hospitals, like McLaren, have never relaxed their policies since this summer.
Our policy has been consistent. It's been in place. We've always allowed 1 visitor, and those patients are always screened, and they're always required to wear face masks.
Podolak expressed his appreciation for the staff, but says he is concerned about what comes next.
The nurses have been great, but even here in person, it's taken hours in between questions and answers. And so to do something via phone or email or conference or anything is going to be next to impossible, I fear.
All right, thank you to Tony for that story. That's one of those that's just, you hear about it, it's sad because my grandma has been in and out of the hospital a little bit, and at times it's almost impossible to get answers without 2 people there. One person kind of hanging out with grandma, and then another person going asking the questions of the doctors, because like you said, when you have that person in the hospital, you are just in attack mode. You're trying to get as much answers as you can as quickly as possible. So we obviously understand the need for the change, but it's definitely going to be hard for those people as they try to deal with the visitor policy. Okay, I want to switch to a little bit of a lighter note now. It's a story that I saw on our website that I thought was pretty funny. So TSA, we've all obviously mostly likely been through TSA in our lifetimes. So they've released their top 10 list of most unusual items found in a passenger's bag. So as you can see from the headline, a meth-rito. Have you ever heard of that? Because I certainly have not. But TSA says, do not pretend like you bought that meth-rito at the airport's food court, because they always are seeing people try to sneak things in, and they put it out in a Twitter video here. We're clicking on here through our website. Again, this is on our website, the Don't Miss category. People can click on the Twitter link here in the story, and they said, TSA's Twitter page said, it's here. TSA's top 10 catches of 2021. From bear spray to meth-ritos, our officers found some truly unusual items. They worked hard to keep travelers safe as they returned to the skies. What would you pick as your number 1? So as they have, obviously you can see here, it's like a Sports Center top 10 breakdown of their craziest items found here. Let's scroll forward and see number 1. We got some volume on now accidentally, but let's see if we can find it here. Number 1, lots of wine holder. Oh, these are some honorable mentions, I think. Now I can't find number 1. Oh, that's interesting. Whatever. So you're going to have to watch the video for yourself to catch on to see what the number 1 most strange thing that TSA found was. But I can't even imagine being a TSA worker, some of the stuff that you would find. And this is just some of the stuff that made it to the web story. So there's probably some really strange stuff just that happens every single day. The TSA workers probably have quite the stories to tell when they get home from work that day. Let's take another look at the 6-day weather forecast this time. A minor snow system will move into the region Wednesday afternoon and remain in place as we move throughout the morning hours on Thursday. Our temperatures on Friday will dip back down into the lower 20s and look to stay in that range throughout the weekend as we sit under partly cloudy skies. 36 tomorrow, so a little bit of a warm-up. 30 and then 22 on Friday, 20 on Saturday, and back down to in that 25 range on Sunday as well. So, a pretty typical winter weather forecast here. Nothing too crazy on the snow front, nothing too crazy on the ice front. As of right now, obviously things can change very quickly here in Michigan, but as of right now, not too crazy of a weather report Certainly like to see that. Maybe some kids in school are thinking, at what point are we going to get some of those snow days that we always are looking forward to? But so far, nothing too crazy on the snow day front either. We have Blake Harms doing our snow day closing predictions, so be sure to check those out if and when we eventually get some more snow. But right now, they're just kind of, been a little less work for Blake, so I'm sure that's been nice. He does do them for the west side of the state as well, though, so the west side of the state has been crazy with snow, so Blake has still been staying busy, so I'm not going to give Blake too hard of a time. John Moore, our IT guy, says, on a positive note, the average new deaths per day are on par with the last year. No spike in death rate, so that's certainly good news, John, talking about our COVID-19 numbers. Charlotte says, hey, what happened to all the 2021 vehicles that they didn't have a chip for, and why are they charging 20% more for the 2022? Good question, Charlotte. I'm not exactly sure. Patricia says hello, so hello to Patricia. But that's pretty much all the comments that we got for today. A little bit slower on the comment front today than typical, but hey, that is what it is. We had a lot of people watching today, so we like to see that. We'll trade some viewers for some comments every once in a while. We like to see people tuning in and getting the full report. John says, get better soon. Blake, absolutely. Yep, Blake unfortunately has COVID-19 right now. He put it out on his Twitter page and his Facebook. So, yeah, Blake, hopefully you're feeling better soon. We're getting those weather reports from Blake again soon. But in the meantime, be sure to tune in for 6 News at 5, 5:30, 6, and 11. Make sure to download our apps. They are free, very convenient, especially this time of the year. Man, do I miss the times when I didn't even have to consider warming up my car, or if the weather is going to be too crazy to drive to Ann Arbor or Detroit or wherever this weekend. I miss it in the summer. You could just turn the car on, see where go wherever you want to go, and I don't have to worry about it. But right now, that's not the time of the year it is, so make sure you have our weather apps because they're going to be a very useful tool for this time of the year. But we will be back again for another edition of the Daily Digital Debrief. But in the meantime, everyone have a great afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching the Daily Digital Debrief. Weekdays at 12:30.